To many, it is a dream that seems impossible. A desert-covered nation seeking to lead the world in green transition has embarked on one of the most ambitious endeavors in the history of mankind.
We need to attend to climate change. It's an admission from the Saudi government that we are up to the challenge.
The Saudi Green Initiative, the image the kingdom wants the world to see, trumpeting Saudi Arabian efforts to promote sustainable energy and biodiversity.
The Saudi Green Initiative, from ambition to action.
But there's another story. It goes to the very top of the kingdom. But no glossy ads or PR, because it's all about continuing to sell as much oil and gas as they can. Tonight, the story the Saudis won't be openly telling the world at the global COP climate conference, starting on Thursday in Dubai. From Cape Town to Riyadh to the UK, undercover journalists from the Centre for Climate Reporting have been active. Their target? Saudi Arabia's oil sustainability programme, the OSP.
Hi, Nawaf. I can't see you. Hello. I can hear you though.
In a video called Sting, Saudi OSP officials think they're talking to like-minded oil investors.
And my colleague David will be joining too.
Okay.
But they're being secretly recorded and the undercover team hits gold.
I believe we can start. All of my colleagues have joined.
An extraordinary admission from the Saudis that they're trying to artificially raise oil demand in a climate crisis.
My impression is that with the issues of climate change, there's a risk of kind of declining oil demand. So the OSP has kind of been set up to artificially stimulate demand.
Yes, it is one of the aspects that we are trying to do. It's one of the main objectives that we are trying to accomplish.
And it goes right to the very top of the Saudi regime, to the boss himself, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. How do we know? Because they say so.
As you can see here in the slide, these 17 entities...
Saudi officials helpfully refer to a presentation setting out how the OSP's entities are all overseen.
All of these entities is chaired by His Royal Highness Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman, which is the Minister of Energy, which also reports to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
The OSP has a website, but little is known about its underlying strategy. It says its ambition is to create opportunities and applications for hydrocarbons, while ensuring hydrocarbons remain part of the global energy mix in the most efficient and sustainable way. So it's a vast network overseen from the very top, running through ministries to private companies. So what's it for? The plan? To keep Asia and Africa hooked on Saudi oil.
First off, power ships. Plans for fleets of floating power stations on ships off the African and South Asian coasts, burning heavy fuel oil to generate electricity. And if a country is landlocked, well, they've got that covered. Similar power stations again, burning Saudi fuel oil.
OSP objective is to facilitate investments in marine power ships in Africa to accelerate electrification efforts in targeted countries.
Not a word about wind or solar. Second, a new generation of cheap petrol cars as well as buses and planes to be targeted on Africa.
We're talking about diesel, gasoline and jet fuel. We also work to increase the availability of low-cost internal combustion engine cars there.
All of this endorsed not just in the undercover sting operation, but here at this members-only conference in South Africa this year. Leaked recordings obtained by the undercover team show Mohammed Al-Taya, the OSP director himself, praising the strategy.
We have an effort to introduce low-cost cars into strategic markets where individuals don't have the ability to purchase the cars.
The Saudi presentation talks about fleets of petrol and diesel vehicles to capture the increasing gasoline-diesel demand. Plans for new cheap petrol cars with mass marketing to give an oil uplift for the kingdom.
So you might say, what's wrong with Asia and Africa having what we have? Well, the answer, say scientists, is that super-rich countries should be enabling developing nations to get not what we have, but what we want: clean, cheap, green energy.
The Saudis know a quarter of all oil becomes petrol and diesel. During the Undercover sting, they revealed how they want to counter the growth of electric vehicles.
EVs are being favored in terms of subsidies and regulatory advantage, especially in regions like in Africa. So what we are working on is to increase internal combustion engine technological adoptions.
So we know the Saudi plan is to continue doing business as usual where they can, climate crisis or not. We know they want to flood Asia and Africa with petrol and diesel vehicles, but there's much more. On top of all that, the Saudis are now planning a global rollout of supersonic aviation, stressing the fact that it uses a lot more fuel.
The Saudis' presentation helpfully explains supersonic flight uses 3 times as much jet fuel. This, it seems, is desirable. The Saudis plan to fast-track development of commercial supersonic aviation. Here's OSP official Saleh Adayal.
You know, supersonic aviation consumes more energy and the market size is expected to grow significantly. So opportunity here is to accelerate the growth and development of the supersonic technologies.
تغوص بين الرمل، تحفر الصخر ليتدفق بئر الخير بسائل يشكل الحياة.
So supersonic aviation, just one of almost 50 OSP projects expanding oil demand, and they're serious. Take Africa. The Saudis already have agreements with Senegal, Chad, Ethiopia, Nigeria and Rwanda. Channel 4 News approached Saudi officials for comment, but they have not responded. Science demands the coming COP climate summit must begin the end of our addiction to oil and gas. But will it happen? Just 2 years ago, in a memorable moment at the Glasgow Climate Summit, Saudi Arabia's energy minister was asked a simple question by a reporter.
So do you agree that fossil fuels are the main driver of global warming?
No, I think there will be a good way forward.
That answer, a flat denial of science, of physics. Next week at the COP Climate Summit, the Saudis will literally set out their stall. In public, green initiatives, but alongside it a vast global network designed to burn as much oil globally as they can for as long as they can.